the classic projector, the mental projector, these beings with 4 motors open, they're a minority amongst projectors. The vast majority of projectors are energy projectors. And energy projectors are any projector that has a defined motor. So that there's all kinds of combinations. This here, for example, the moment that you have motors defined, that's the moment that you have an energy projector. There's still no defined sacral. There is no motor connected to the throat. There's still projectors. But they are very, very different from the classic and mental projector because they do have defined motors inside of them. The term non-energy type is often confusing. It doesn't mean that there are projectors that don't have energy. There are a lot of projectors, the majority of projectors, that have an enormous amount of energy that has no consistent outlet. And because of the fact that they have a lot of stored energy that doesn't have a consistent outlet, they have difficulties physically. And this is a whole class of projectors that rather than being workers need to be exercisers. In other words, it's very important for energy projectors to work their energy out in a positive way. It's very important because the energy builds up. And if that energy builds up, all you end up with is bursts of energy and crashes. And of course, this is one of the most common things about being an energy projector. You're building up energy and building up energy, waiting for some kind of connection. And the moment the connection's there, you have this burst of energy. Now, of course, you're not designed to consistently release the energy. But you're designed to be able to release that energy in a healthy, inconsistent way. Inconsistent way. Remember about finding out about yourself. Finding out about yourself isn't about changing yourself. It isn't. It's about finding who that self is and accepting it. For example, the idea of inconsistent exercise. Inconsistent exercise is just that. Let's say you're into yoga. It's not about doing yoga every day. It isn't. It'll kill you to do it every day. You're going to do it when you're not supposed to be doing it because it's supposed to be inconsistent, and that's the very day that you do damage. I pulled this or I hurt that or whatever the case may be. Because it's intended to be inconsistent. You're not, the moment that an energy projector is captured into super slavery, they super slaves. The other projectors eventually collapse. They collapse. They have no defined motors. Those energy projectors, they're still going. Even as the generators are falling, by the way, they're still cranking. In the end, it burns you out. And where the classic projector and the mental projector get the signal that something's wrong, they're the first ones that realize, wait a minute, that's not me. It's much more difficult for an energy projector because they do have those energy systems within them that are very powerful. They do have all that stuff. It's like the projector kid, who is told to do their homework when they're alone. And nothing really happens. And then the parent comes into the room and hooks them up. And while they're sitting with the parent, they go through everything. And the parent gets up and walks out and says, why can't you do that by yourself? Well, they're not here to do it by themselves. They're not. It's not about the projector saying, I have to exercise today. It's about somebody in their life who will invite them, who will ask them. And if that invitation doesn't come, it's not the time to exercise. You can want to do that and do this and the other thing, but it's just not the time. It's a frequency. These motors operate in a very special way because they're not integrated into generating or manifesting. They're not intended to operate the way in which a generator's motor operates or a manifestor's motor operates, which is consistent. And therefore those motors are designed for it. Your motors are designed to be turned on and off. They are. And that means that, again, it's not about you becoming the worker. It's not. Because the moment you get into that consistent demand of you energy-wise, it's not going to work. You're the part-time specialist. That's what you are. You're a part-time specialist, because in that part-time you can put in more energy than most beings are going to put in a whole day. You come in there for your 3 hours, juiced up, all the energy gets poured out, you fly, and then it's over and you leave. That's you. And that's you in love. That's you in friendship. That's you in work. That's you. And the moment that you can accept that being inconsistent and using your energy inconsistently is correct for you is the moment you'll see it makes you feel good. And you get recognized for your gift. You've got the right amount of energy for the thing at the time, and then that's it, and out you go. But you clean yourself out. You've got to move this energy. And one of the biggest problems for the energy projector is that they get addicted to trying to get the energy out all the time. They just do. And of course, they're the ones that are at the greatest risk when it comes to the basic exercise that every human being needs. It really becomes something that gets overdone, and they end up really doing damage to themselves physically. Again, accepting limitation is the magic of being awake. It's not a limitation that is negative. It can be negative if you don't get it. It's very positive if you do. You have perfect energy for the right situations. And you know how those right situations come along. They have to come to you. You don't have to worry about, I feel guilty, I should really be doing it today. No. And of course, think about all the energy projectors who are in jobs in which it's insisted that they work consistently all the time. Whatever the kind of job is. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. You see, the world's run by generators. You end up suffering because of that. Don't allow anybody to tell you what to do. Don't allow anybody to control you. And certainly don't allow anybody to pretend that they're controlling your energy. You don't have to. You truly do not have to. But you'll only get to the point of recognizing that others will respect what is you specifically when you demand it and when you're comfortable with it. Everybody else is plowing away and you say, had enough now, and not feel guilty and know that you're being correct. This is the magic of being an energy projector.